Oh wow, I wondered when the game itself was gonna start. I made the mistake of not booting up the game first and going live first. I made the mistake of not opening the launcher first. But it seems like everything worked out. Anyways, welcome to yet another stream. Today I figured I'd chill out and played some more Hexxit II. So now I just gotta wait for this to finish loading. And we'll get into some things I have to discuss. Okay, so we spawned in. Now to switch to... I'm gonna switch to the right window. Okay, there we go. Now it detects it. So one of the new things that I want to mention is we now have a community Discord. I don't think I've ever opened a Discord like that before. I've opened like a big one before, but not for a community. But this will be the first time as of this week, this will be the first time I'm trying something like this out. I want to mention though, besides the usual terms of service, like you got to be respectful towards one another and not cause any unnecessary problems. I also want to mention that it is for that you must be 18 years or older to be in that server. Because the thing is, environments like that might not always be safe for them. The environment of the server that I'm in should be... The environment of the server that I run should be... It should be pretty safe, but that's also because it's still new and not the most active at the moment. But still, I'd prefer not to have any minors involved in that Discord. Because you never know what could happen if they are involved. Also, on that topic, as you could probably tell from the title, another thing that I want to discuss is, I remember I've discussed this on Twitter before, but I think some people need to get the understanding that I'm not a person that creates content for children. Despite my lack of foul language, which that's more of a me thing rather than like trying to appeal to a certain audience. That's just me in general. I'm not one to say many swear words. It used to come from how I was raised before, and how with a certain belief that I was raised with, which I no longer have. But I think even after that, I've just been like, is this really gonna add much to me? So I never got around to swearing much. But even if I don't do that, I'm not a person that like many children. I'm not a content creator that many children should be watching, especially with the friends I hang out with. And I want to say, if they end up like watching us, and they get to hear like some of the unusual discussions, and they end up asking a parent about that, we are not responsible for that. I think that responsibility should belong to the parents themselves, which at the same time it feels weird to say like parents, do your job and don't let your kid alone with the iPad, because you shouldn't. And at the same time, here I was in my preteens tuning in to watch Smosh whenever they'd upload, which I probably wasn't supposed to. It's a case of do as I say, not as I do. But yeah, no minors allowed in the Discord, and I prefer not to have a fan base of minors. I appreciate the support that they give with the content, but I am not a children's content creator. Let's just get that straight. Oh, where'd this feather come from? I probably have use for that. Is the volume on this, like, well adjusted? Because some songs seem louder than others. That's weird. What was I gonna do here? I could probably get around to finally getting around to that smeltery. Hello. Okay, let's place some of these here. And we can finally get around to the smeltery. Well, now there's just a big hole here. So I'll have to patch that up with some stone. Yeah, I suppose you're right. 1 minus 1 does equal 0. Oh, I have absolutely no food left. I'm gonna have to fix that. Okay, start smelting some of these. I've gotten around to having mods set up for Twitch, but I wonder if I probably have yet to update the mod list for YouTube. Because it really has been a while. I gotta get around to that whenever possible. That's right, I don't have an axe. I don't know if there are any further plans with it at the moment. Right now I'm seeing where it goes. But right now we're chilling. Okay, now I can start doing stuff. There's like a type of wood that I'm missing, but I don't think it's over here. Oh, here we've got a skeleton I can kill. This is probably not the wood that I'm looking for, but just to be sure. Oh. This is not going to be much use to me. I gotta grab one of these. Oh, that's right, I'm looking for... Oh, yes, this is the wood that I'm looking for. Finally fixed that area that the creeper had blown up. Run? What am I running from, exactly? Oh, the skeleton, probably. No worries, I already took care of it. Okay, that math does not math. It would probably be too dangerous for me to try, but I'm kind of curious about that battle tower right there. At the same time, I don't think I have a bow and arrow that would be good enough. But I do know how to make one that's maybe better. See, there you go. That makes more sense. Make one of those. Oh, actually, two of those. Oh, wait, I'm gonna need the string. Just place that in there. Got one iron bow. And then I can make another. What was I able to make with this? Oh, a Legia bow. That's what I was trying to make. But I don't have enough string. Well, isn't this convenient? There we are. Still don't know if I'm exactly prepared for that battle tower, though. Well, I got a ghost sheep right here. Got nothing but spectral essence from that. Oh boy, something tells me that this area is not going to be safe. Oh. Oh boy. Yep, not safe, not safe, not safe. Okay, we're good. As long as I get more hearts. There we are. Oh, that's right, I can manage from here. Mute that. Now I can pay attention to the Twitch chat from mobile. Ooh, this definitely ought to be useful. But will it be good enough to take on the... Oh. Error popped up on the meter player. Will it be good enough to take on the first floor of the battle tower? Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And now we have this guy. Aha! More string. This wood could be useful. What do we got? Oh! Yeah, I don't think so. Get rid of that, and get rid of that. Ooh, more torches. Gladly. I think that'll do just to be safe. Now we just head back home. Oh, okay. I did not mean to do that. Oh, here we have a spectral duck. Oh, that's right, I could place the torches here. Just do that. Got too much stuff in the inventory. Oh, I just remembered a thing that I had mentioned. I remember an idea that I mentioned that I could that I probably that I could get around to next stream that I mentioned last time I streamed this. There is this list of interesting. I think it was last week that I had found this interesting list of concepts that I had discovered, and it really makes me think. And one of them is this one is described as Cunningham's law. The best way to get the right answer on the internet is I should probably bring my phone down here so I can read it better. The best way to get the right answer on the internet is not to ask a question, but to post the wrong answer, because people online are more interested in criticizing people rather than helping them. That's probably why that is most likely why you're bound to get more attention on a YouTube video if you have like a minor spelling mistake or you pronounce someone's name wrong. Because then you end up attracting more people, because if there are more comments about the spelling mistake or pronouncing something wrong, there's a chance that the algorithm could favor that. But that can vary depending on... That can vary quite a lot. I don't know how the algorithm works. Nor am I gonna, like, place every single gamble on the algorithm. Next one. Feynman's razor. If you can't explain something to a child, you don't understand it yourself. This is because it's only when you fully grasp a topic that you can distill it down to its essence. You know, I could sort of... I think... There's part of it I agree with, and part of it I'm not sure I see exactly that way. But then again, I'm not one to teach things to children very much. I don't speak to them much to begin with. But it does make sense. You just have to make sure to dumb it down to... Well, not dumb it down, just, like, distill it to... something that, like, anyone can make sense of. See, what's another interesting one I can mention? The nocebo effect. Harmless substances can make people feel ill if they think the substance is harmful. Harmless substances can make people feel ill if they think the substance is harmful. I remember hearing like a good example of this. Like the whole... Like there was this study that I heard about of people claiming that they were allergic to gluten, which there are people that have gluten intolerance as well as celiac disease. But these people that claim to be... It probably must have been a gamble for... It probably must have been a gamble for the people in that experiment researching this. But they had taken the people that had claimed to have a gluten allergy, and when they were given gluten, it was exposed that maybe they weren't allergic to it after all. There should be a way to diagnose celiac disease without having to have them have gluten itself. Let's see. Casual reductionism. Things rarely just happen for one reason. Usually outcomes result from many changes Usually outcomes result from many causes conspiring together, but our minds cannot process such a complex arrangement, so we tend to ascribe outcomes to single causes, reducing the web of casualty to a mere thread. I'm not sure why I kept that one. It just made me blank out. Casual parasitism or parasitism? Parasite, but another, like, suffix. An ideology becomes a parasite of the mind, changing the host behaviors so they spread it to other people. Therefore, a successful ideology is not configured the ideology that the kind that we hear about is not configured to be true. It is configured to only to be easily transmitted and easily believed. That can apply to a lot of the fear-inducing information that you'd find out about. Oh, boy. Oh, wow, the skeleton already teleported. Okay. Aha! Beating you at your own game. There we are. Cumulative error. Mistakes grow, beliefs are built on beliefs. So one wrong thought can snowball into a delusional worldview. Likewise, as an inaccuracy is reposted on the web, more is added to it, creating fake news. In our network age, cumulative errors are the norm. Yep, pretty much. I wish there was more I could add to that. Oh, this one I'm pretty sure multiple people have heard about. Survivorship bias. We overemphasize the examples that pass visibility threshold. As an example, our understanding of serial killers is based on the ones who got caught. Equally, news is only news if it is an exception rather than the rule. But since it's what we see, we treat it as the rule. That is scary to think about. Like, the common things that we hear about serial killers... If there's a pattern going on that we must think is the usual norm for most serial killers, imagine how scary it must be for there to be, like, serial killers of the opposite, or, like, the kind that don't follow that pattern. It's scary to think about. Okay, there goes that pickaxe. Well, we got more iron. I should probably take some of this to the nearest furnace and then read this other concept that I find. There is so much coal in this area. Oh. Okay, there is a zombie nearby. That was easy. Trying to find a good one that would be interesting to... Well, these are all pretty good ones, but one that can probably stand out to a lot. Golden Hammer. When someone, usually an intellectual, who has gained a cultist following for popularizing a concept, becomes so drunk with power he thinks he can apply that concept to everything. Oh, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people like that. I don't know if it's a direct example, but I know that there are a lot of creators out there that must be so drunk with power that they... Now, maybe it's not an example, I just know that there are a lot of creators that'll be drunk with power to the point where they think they can get away with anything. Just creating that noise. Oh, it's one of those gremlins. Or ghouls. It's hiding in the basement, isn't it? Aha! I don't appreciate those that break into my basement. Outgroup homogeneity effect. We tend to view outgroup members as all the same. Oh boy, isn't that the truth? That's why you don't see me getting into certain topics. Especially those that are, like, heavily debated, because I think it's interesting when there can be discussions about... There can be, like, mature discussions about that, like getting to understand, like, one another's viewpoint. But when it becomes a sports team mentality kind of thing, that's when I check out. If it becomes more about owning the other person, then what is the point of, like, keeping up to date with that? That's why I won't look for any content that's like, person of this team owned by this other team. I mean, owned by this person of this other team. It just feels like drivel. Where do we... Do we really get anywhere from that? I don't think so. Availability cascade. When a new concept enters the arena of ideas, people react to it, thereby amplifying it. The idea thus becomes more popular, causing even more people to amplify it by reacting to it, until everyone feels the need to talk about it. That's an interesting one. It just brings more attention to that thing. Ooh, you may want to listen to this one. Procrastivity. We often avoid work by doing something else that feels productive, so we don't feel guilty. For example, endlessly researching productivity hacks instead of actually being productive. Beware that your brain can justify procrastination by disguising it as progress. Oh yeah, you could look at a lot of videos by Dr. K of Healthy Gamer GG, or a lot of videos, a lot of educational videos from fitness content creators that don't try to lie to you. You can watch as many of those as you want, but if you don't put those into action and actually use them, then it's not really being productive. You're not really getting anywhere with that. Oh yes, I can snipe the ogre from all the way over here. Oh, I got him! Yes! There's a chance he might have dropped something interesting. No, just an emerald thing. The Grey Rock Method. Reacting emotionally to trolls and other toxic people only gives them what they want, your time and energy, which encourages further trolling and abuse. As such, the best way to get them to stop is to become unresponsive to their provocations. Yep. One good example is like a lot of engagement bait on Twitter, especially if it's rage bait. If you want them to fade out of obscurity, don't pay attention to what they post. And that's a big reason why I tend not to engage with that kind of thing. Every once in a while I'll make a joke about something, but even with the Twitter rage bait posts, most of them have Twitter Premium, so that also brings the awareness that if you're subtweeting those particular posts and or replying to them, that engagement actually gets them money. So you're falling right into their trap. You're not only giving them your time and attention, but you're also giving them money from Twitter. So just keep that in mind. If you want to respond to those, you could at least, without letting Twitter get the money that you give them through interaction, you can just screenshot the tweet and react to it that way. Probably wouldn't get as much attention as reposting or replying to it, but it's probably still better than giving them money. Solomon's Paradox. We're better at solving other people's problems than our own, because detachment yields objectivity. Yeah, I could give... If I'm, talking to a friend that's looking for advice about something, self-worth, if they if they look to me for that. I'm no licensed therapist. I can only help out as a friend of theirs. But if they were not feeling great about themselves, we could have a discussion about that, and I could try my best to help them understand that them thinking lowly of themselves may not actually be the truth. While at the same time, every once in a while, I myself can struggle with those kinds of things. Now, I try not to, and acknowledge that it is like just a thought that is most likely from the past that is powering that sort of thing. But yeah, do be aware, in like a general sense, try to be aware of it. If you begin to feel like you're not worthy of the friends you have, or like anything good in your life, see if you can take some time to truly understand why you may feel that way, be it through meditation or therapy. Or maybe there's something, well, I think this goes with meditation and therapy. There may be something in your mind from the past, or something that from the past is echoing in your mind that you may want to look into if you can. Oh, this is a good one. Howard Hughes syndrome. Everyone always lies to the powerful, to curry favor or avoid punishment. Hearing nothing but flattery causes the most powerful people to develop the most distorted views of reality, and their vast influence means we all pay the price. Yeah, at worst, if we see someone, there are people out there that if they notice something, if they notice like a powerful person or like a famous person that may give benefits to that particular person, there is a chance that they will be as big of a people pleaser as possible and only tell them what they want to hear instead of what they need to hear. To further benefit that person, and in return for that person, their views of reality can become distorted enough, and that can be very dangerous. They can become one of those corrupt people that exist in the world. Permission structure. People don't want to change their mind for fear of looking stupid, so give them a way to change without looking stupid. Example, instead of simply telling someone they're wrong, tell them you thought like them, but you had your mind changed by new information. That's a great way of discussing a differing view. Like, hey man, I completely understand where you're coming from. I had that same view, but there were other things that had me think differently lately, rather than, no, you're wrong. Nope, you're nitpicking and biased. I win, bye-bye. Yeah, you don't want to be like that. You want to... I think it's important to listen to what they have to say first, before immediately calling them wrong. And then... That's when I feel like it'd be fitting to mention that... Didn't we already hear this song before? But yeah, that's when it would be... Hearing them out would be... It'd be important to hear them out first, and then discuss the differing view that you may have. In a mature kind of way. Just be like, hey, I previously thought that way too, but had my mind changed by some new information, and here's what that found. You gotta make sure it's a mature discussion, not just a bunch of bickering, like, no, you're wrong, no, you're wrong. Social influence bias. You can't trust customer ratings because each rating is influenced by the previous ones. People will rate something higher if the current rating is very low or very high. The result is that many things have far higher customer ratings than they should. Oh, that's an interesting one. That'll have me questioning so many customer ratings. Can anything be trusted anymore at this point? Grand Falloon. We categorize people into meaningless groups, like the so-and-so community, like the physics community, the Minecraft community, the Undertale community. This also applies to, like, people of certain races, sexualities, like just labeling them as the community of those people. The people in these communities often have little in common, but we treat them like they think with one mind, and shockingly, some even claim to speak for them. Oh yeah, that was a big thing that was to be claimed. Like, I will never see every single Undertale fan as the same, nor will I see every single Five Nights at Freddy's fan as the same. Because every person in that fandom is their own person. I could judge them... I could make the hasty judgment of assuming that they're all children or they're all, like, into weird stuff. But that would not be fair to any FNAF fan. That would be pretty tame, to say the least. Because I know quite a few FNAF fans that are actually cool, that are actually pretty cool. And Nat is definitely, and my friend Nat is definitely one of them. I think another example would be, like, thinking, oh, especially in 2021, when when cancel culture for certain jokes would be at its highest. Like how this particular, I wouldn't say like every single Minecraft fan, but there's like a certain subgroup of people, these kinds of people that would go after someone like Jschlap for having a darker sense of humor than a lot of the Minecraft content creators that would be seen as squeaky clean, when ironically some of them turned out to not have such a squeaky clean reputation later. Like, I remember certain... Like, I remember, like, some darker jokes that Schlatt would make, like, that would be making fun of racism, and someone in that, and, like, those kinds of people in that quote-unquote community would be like, oh, this is part of the problem, you're why there's so much bigotry and hate in America, when I don't think, like, every single person of that group would be offended by that. You're not one to speak for all of them if you say that the quote-unquote community hates those jokes or likes those jokes. I think even if they have, like, that one thing in common, they're all their own people. Like, one person could say, like, oh wow, one person could say, you know, this joke makes me feel, as, like, one of these, as, like, a person of this group, it makes me feel uncomfortable that this would be joked about. Meanwhile, another person would say, like, as a person of this group, I find this hilarious. So it wouldn't be so if it's something like that, I don't exactly think that it would be a case of... I lost my train of thought. Okay, it's coming back. I don't think it would be a case of like, only people of this... of, like, this can upset people of this particular group. Well, it can, but will it upset all of them? I don't think it will. I think it comes more to, as the old saying goes, different strokes for different folks. Like, no matter what group you're a part of, there will be people there will be people of that group that'll find it funny, and people of that group that'll not find it funny. And the same goes for people outside of that group. Some will find that funny, some will not find that funny. Everyone's got their own limits when it comes to a sense of humor. Heck, I got my own limits. I'm not one to dismiss dark humor. I am a dark humor enjoyer myself. And I mean the kind that's, like, I don't mean the kind that is edgy for the sake of being edgy. I mean the kind that can actually be funny. The kind that can actually be clever and funny. Not the kind that thinks, like, oh, I'm gonna say a word that I can't say. Is not the kind of guy that's like, oh, I'm gonna say a word that I'm not supposed to say. Not a person that can find that funny. Not that kind of person. That just seems childish. That's not clever at all. Some people are different, though. Some will immediately get a laugh out of that. Like, I think it would also apply to, like, if jokes were made about myself. Like, I'm definitely not opposed to that, as long as you can make it funny. Like how Doug Walker would perceive, like, jokes about the Nostalgia Critic, just poking fun at his character, like with the jokes that the Only Plays crew would make about him and the Nostalgia Critic, and how he would find those enjoyable as long as they were funny. I think it's important to recognize that. Trying to find another interesting one. Alder's Razor. If something can't be settled by experiment or observation, it's probably not worthy of debate. This is because without empirical evidence, there is just your word against mine, and everyone wants the last word. Following this rule saves so much time. This can definitely apply to to if there is a topic that I myself am not well educated on. If I don't know much about it, I'm not going to take a side of that if I don't know what it is I'm talking about. Like, I'll have, as mentioned before, I'll have trouble, like, putting it into words, but, I'll have trouble putting it into words, but that doesn't mean I don't understand it. It's not always the case with me not understanding it. But if it's something that I don't think I know much about... If it's something that I don't have much of an understanding about, I don't think that's my battle. Nor is, like, every single argument about a certain topic my battle. Especially if I'd be discussing that with someone that would not be open to changing their mind. I'm not always looking to change someone's mind. And especially not with people that don't want to have an open mind. It would just be pointless to continue having that discussion. Especially if it's gonna turn into another back and forth sports team mentality kind of thing. Oh, I just talked about this. Gwinder's theory of bespoke B followed by the letter S. Yeah, there I go again, not swearing. Many don't have an opinion until they're asked for it. At which point they cobble together a viewpoint from whim and half-remembered hearsay before deciding that this 2-minute-old makeshift opinion will be their new hill to die on. Yeah, I will not claim to be, like, pro or anti something unless I have done enough research for it. I could lie about that and like pretend that I know what I'm talking about, but then like the genuine feeling is lost. I'd rather not have it be performative. I'd rather be something that I'm well educated on and would actually have an educated thing to say about. Okay, let me just move that there. I just realized that I didn't get anything else accomplished besides like just yapping about these different concepts that I kept on a Google Doc that I found interesting. I did find a dungeon of some kind somewhere over there. These concepts are pretty interesting. And I have this other document that I could discuss at some point that I feel like would be interesting to discuss on the next chill stream. Another thing that I felt like would be worthy of mentioning is, well, it hasn't been my first time I've been getting into his content. As of like earlier this week, I've been on a binge of The Angry Video Game Nerd. And I'd see like various episodes from like older seasons and then like later seasons and see which would stand out to me the most. Like one that I remember seeing first was his video on Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for the Sega Genesis. Because I remembered that game, and while I am a huge MJ fan, I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of the Genesis game, but I love the arcade version, especially since it's like multiplayer. Since it's like a multiplayer arcade beat 'em up with Michael Jackson. Now I may also have a bias because one of the MJs happens to have a red suit and red fedora. But that aside, I like that game quite a bit. I could probably explore a little bit. I don't know if there's like much I can steal from here without needing a backpack. Well, I might as well see what this is about. Oh boy, already spawned. And then immediately get rid of that. There we are. Tin. What am I gonna have use for tin? Okay, now this I could probably have use for. Oh. Just get rid of those. There we are. I can probably see what's down here. And I don't know if I'm gonna have much use for the fish. But here, no. Just some books. And nothing down there. And nothing down there. Oh, there could be something down here, although I definitely need to make use of those dirt blocks. Because I do not want to fall. Oh! I could just shoot the creeper from here. Ooh, 16 damage, nice. Now let's just get rid of that. Get the iron from here. Oh, I can't even reach that. Where did this come from? Name tag? This is concerning. Do I dare investigate? Why is it getting lighter? I guess we could see what's going on there. I just gotta know. Sturdy, the golden gladiator. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yes, got rid of some of his armor. Okay, this is actually taking away some health. Oh, wow. Okay, he's still got some health left. I don't have sufficient enough food. There we are. This is a dungeon, isn't it? Leroy Sr. and Leroy Jr. Huh. Can I shoot them from there? Oh boy! Oh boy! I don't know how I managed that. Leroy? Okay, that's interesting. Let's just get some of this. Dispose of... I don't need the fur. I got most of that stuff, so I can probably head out of there. What? Oh no. Is this it? Oh boy. Oh boy. Regenerate, please. No, 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 no. Okay. Well, I guess that's it. And with that, that'll be the end of tonight's Hexxit 2 stream. And with that being said, thank you to those that have joined. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube under the name JPS Freak. I tend to stream at least once, sometimes twice a week at around 6 or 7 p.m. PST. And now I have a Discord for those that would be interested in like maybe chatting with some other enjoyers of my content and keeping up to date with whenever I stream. But no minors allowed. Let's get that clear, okay? Anyways, thank you guys once again. I will see you all on Monday for more Security Breach, because we have yet another ending to get to. So stay tuned, and I'll see you all very soon. Have a good night, everyone.